In our Can't Battle series, we're up to probably, besides corner, one of our deepest. And that's wide receivers. What is up, Finn fans? Wide receivers. We're going to be talking about all 12, 13 wide receivers. Depends on where you see Malcolm Perry. But yes, that is what the video is going on today. I have a very good comment of the day. I'm going to do my little spiel. So again, if you want to skip the intro, you can see there's a little tab. You can just, this is some things I need to talk about. So if you're very interested in what's going to be happening in this video, what's going to be happening this week, the OTAs, which start today. Today, the OTAs start. So if I get any intel, any play rec, any of that stuff where they talk about certain people did this, you'll get it later tonight. I'm recording this Sunday night because I'm with the baby right now. My wife's at work. So you'll get that later tonight when she gets home and I can sit down and make an OTAs video. That is if they allow the media there and if they release anything. That's that. Next, Patreon and members. I need to shout out to you guys. Tove Anderson, thank you so much for joining the Patreon. And member, you Dotis, thank you so much for joining. He joined Saturday during the live stream if you want to go back and watch that. So yeah, like I said, today is the official start of OTAs. So as you're watching this, it's probably about 11 o'clock. I think OTAs started and is probably almost over. If there's any news, any updates, any interviews, any of that stuff, you will get it from me later tonight. Because like I said, right now I am with the baby and I cannot record while I'm with the baby. Also, a little news that came out is the Dolphins, I think they're officially going to be moving Robert Hunt to right guard, which I think we all saw. I think Eckenberg is going to be right tackle. My prediction is Jackson left tackle, Solomon Kinley, wow, left guard, Skura center, Hunt right guard, and then Eichenberg, however you say it, right tackle. So that is just the little news and notes. And also, last thing, I do apologize for the people who are like, this is too long. I went on Twitter and I went on here in the community section, so be sure to go check out the community section. And I asked you guys, right? At some point in June, it's going to get real dead, but I have a ton of content planned for you guys. Miami Dolphin Mythbusters, some cool, ratings and charts and, list videos, top 10 this, top 10 that, whatever. So you're not going to be bored. Trust me. Hit the subscribe button if you don't want to be bored during the off season. But also I asked you guys, do you want me to do more reaction videos? Kind of like I did with the Kurt Warner Tua video. And 88% of you guys on Twitter said yes. And 93% of you guys on here said yes. So I will start incorporating those. I have a video planned for Wednesday that it's kind of a reaction video. And it's only Dolphin stuff. I'm not going to start reacting to like try not to laugh challenges. That's not this channel. But I'm going to start reacting to like best Dolphin plays of 2020 and stuff like that. So I'll start doing reaction videos. All right. I already wasted enough of your guys' time. Let's jump into the video. We're going to be talking wide receivers in the Camp Battle situation. Like I said, there's about 13 wide receivers, depending on what you think about Malcolm Perry. So there's Malcolm Perry, Lynn Bowden Jr., Robert Foster, Will Fuller, Jakeem Grant, Matt Collins, Alan Hearns, Kai Locksley, Kirk Merritt, Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson. Jeez Louise. Dolphins got a lot of wide receivers, and they got a lot of quality wide receivers. Now, the biggest thing, right, when you start raffling off these names, there's names that pop out at you, right? Will Fuller, Jakeem Grant, Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, even maybe Lynn Bowden Jr., from last year, maybe Matt Collins, right? And there's some guys that they recently added with the Robert Foster, Kai Locksley, Kirk Merritt's been with the team, but, hasn't really been able to see the field. So, there's that. Now, the whole who's going to start, who's going to play, who's the odd man out and all that stuff. You look at this roster, and I honestly, you look at the odd men out, and it's like Alan Hearns, Kai Locksley, Kirk Merritt. Those seem to be the odd men out. How many wide receivers are the Dolphins going to go into the season with? 6? Possibly. Last year, the Dolphins got hit with injuries, and our top wide receivers in Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Jakeem Grant got injured. And Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns opted out, so that really also hurt us and the wide receiver core. Matt Collins had to step up. Lynn Bowden had to step up. Malcolm Perry had to step up. And in certain games, they did step up and they did well. Like the Chiefs game, they kind of came in and they did well. But other than that, lots of drops and stuff. And I'm going to talk about stats with some of our top receivers and give you guys a breakdown of that. So let's look at Devontae Parker, right? In 2019, it was his best year in the NFL and with the Dolphins. He played a full 16 games, played the full season, had 1,202 yards and 9 touchdowns, ranking him fourth of all the wide receivers in the NFL. Last year, he took a little bit of a hit. He only played 14 games, missed 2 games because of injuries, had 793 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 7 drops on 63 targets. He dropped the ball 7 times on 63 targets. Not very good there, especially only having he was the leading receiver on the Dolphins. I think it was him, then Gesicki, and then Grant, which again, not too great, especially having only 793 yards. Then you had Preston Williams, who, fun fact, played 8 games in 2019, then got injured, and played 8 games last year, and then got injured. But this past season, 8 games, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 drops on 33 targets. In 2019, in his 8 games, he had 428 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he had a little bit more yardage in 2019. Then you have Jakeem Grant. He played 14 games, again, missed 2 games like Devontae Parker, 373 yards, 1 touchdown. And fun fact, a lot of people talk about his concrete hands and he can't catch a cold and all that stuff. He only had 4 drops. 4 drops on 52 targets. So a lot of people that come out and say Jakeem Grant can't catch a cold and Jakeem, it's not necessarily true. He only had 4 drops on 52 targets. So that's not true. I'll leave it at that. Then we had Lynn Bowden. He played 10 games, 211 yards, no touchdowns, but no drops on 36 targets. And then I'll throw in some Will Fuller stats because his stats last year were a thing of beauty. He played 11 games, 879 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 2 drops on 76 targets. Very good. And you're like, why are you talking about drops? There's a lot of drops last year. A lot of drops. Both quarterbacks had to deal with a lot of drops. Wide receivers were kind of the struggle area for the Dolphins last year. And that's why I feel like this is the biggest need. And that's why they probably brought in and have so many wide receivers. Not only because of the injury aspect of it, but because they need some competition at that position. So, you bring in a Robert Foster, who's a very speedy wide receiver. You look at the wide receivers you brought in that kind of have that speed, right? Lynn Bowden, Robert Foster, Will Fuller, Jakeem Grant, now Jalen Waddle, our 6th overall pick. Speed. All of these guys are very fast guys. So I'm very interested what they can do. Who replaces who is whose replacement. I'll address the elephant in the room. I brought up Jakeem Grant and how he only had 4 drops. What do the Dolphins do with Jakeem Grant? Will they keep him as just a kick return, punt returner? I don't see that as a problem. He's fantastic in that area. He's fantastic doing that. He's gotten us. I think he won us the Chargers game. I know it was the pick 6 from Kiko, but very, very good kick returner. Maybe they keep him in that aspect because of how many wide receivers they have. It's going to be hard to keep such talent. Now, again, I don't know much about Robert Foster. They just signed him. I don't know much about Kyle Oxley. Kirk Merritt never really saw the field. We all know. And then everyone else, there's talent there. Albert Wilson in 2019, he started to come back in his own towards the end of the season, recovering from that hip injury. 2018, he had a fantastic year before the hip injury. He was the reason we beat the Bears. You're throwing 5-yard passes to Albert Wilson. He's taking it up the field, taking it the rest of the way. Preston Williams, again, I told you some stats. He just needs to stay healthy. Jalen Waddle. Do I have to say any more about him? Devontae Parker, if he could stay healthy, he had a 4th ranked wide receiver year. Allen Hurns, he seems like an odd man out, but the fact that we cut him, his dead cap is bigger than his actual contract. That's like, what are they going to do with him? Will Fuller, he's not going anywhere. Will Fuller's another, and then Lynn Bowden. Jakeem Grant. These guys helped the team last year. So a lot of questions I get, and then we have Malcolm Perry, but the fact that he's listed as both, I don't know what they're going to do with him. That's the question that gets asked the most about these wide receivers. Who is the odd man out? I'll tell you who's not. Will Fuller isn't. Devontae Parker isn't. Preston Williams isn't. Those three guys are, and Jalen Waddle, obviously. Those four guys are not going anywhere. Why Preston Williams? He costs absolutely nothing. He's literally... Maybe you can look at it as that's maybe why he'll get cut if he can't stay healthy. But the Preston Williams is ridiculous in camp. So if you look at him and, if he doesn't show up in camp, maybe he'll be cut. He's going to show up in camp. That's what he does. That's what he did last year. He was owning Byron Jones all camp last year. So it was only 2 weeks, but Albert Wilson could be a cap casualty. I'd like to see him stay. I like Albert Wilson. I think his play style mixed with Tua, it would be fantastic. So it's like hard. If I had to pick 6 to stay with the team, it's like Albert Wilson, Preston Williams, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, and then it's like I have one spot left. Who is it? Lynn Bowden. They just brought in Robert Foster, Jakeem Grant, Kirk Merritt, Kyle Loxley, Alan Hearns. Who is it? It's a hard decision. I'm picking Lynn Bowden Jr. I think when he came in and when he started to understand the playbook and when he started to understand what he needed to do with this team, he started playing really well towards the end of the year, Lynn Bowden. So maybe they keep 7. I don't know. This is hard. The wide receiver core is hard, and I'm glad it is. I'm glad we have so much talent that it's hard to pick from. But it's the talent that needs to stay healthy. Because that's the biggest knock on our wide receiver core. A lot of outsiders who don't know much about the Dolphins are like, well, they got nobody. Wide receivers, they got nobody. But some people are saying we added a ton of talent. It's the health. If our wide receivers don't get injured, we're going to probably have a top 5 wide receiver core in the NFL with the addition of Will Fuller. He's on a 1-year contract. Hopefully he balls out and the Dolphins just decide we're going to keep him. We're going to add more depth there. But comment below. How many wide receivers do you think the Miami Dolphins are going to keep? And who are the ones that you think they're going to keep? Comment it below. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say. I named the top 5 that are locks to stay. And then it's like, you got like 7 more guys that are you going to cut? You're going to put on, the practice squad? It's going to be very interesting. Comment below. And we get to one of you guys' comments of the day. Now this comment, fun fact, this comment is from a Jets fan. I know. What the hell, Doug? Jets fan? I'm going to read it to you, and you'll see why I picked it, right? He says, Dougley, love the video. Great sneak peek into division rival. Jet fan here. Watching you hype the quarterback, wide receivers, and running backs, my mind has to find ways to the Finns will fail. So I look at the roster and see injuries waiting to happen. I don't care who the player is or what they play for. I never want to see anyone's season derailed by injuries, but they happen. What do you see as the most likely scenario with player health? What would be the most devastating, and what could the Dolphins get by okay with? I'm not saying that last part. I picked it because it's a very unbiased and a very good comment and kind of coincides with me constantly bringing up health with the wide receivers. So thank you for subscribing. You're not even a Dolphins fan. You're subscribing. I appreciate that. You don't have to be a Dolphins fan to subscribe, but it sure does help. Tom Grassi. So the question is, what do you see as the health? What do you see as the most likely scenario with player health? Hopefully the whole team stays healthy, but in the NFL, that's impossible. Teams, you never see a full 53 stay healthy through a whole season. But what would be the most devastating? To me, Tua, Xavier Howard, big impact players, right? Our left tackle, and then what could we go, and what could the Dolphins get by okay with? Probably like, Nick Needham, maybe like Lynn Bowden, Jakeem Grant, one of those underlining players that don't have a big impact on the team or on what we're doing. We can get, we lose our slot corner. We have another slot corner. We could put McCourty in there. We could see if Noah can play slot. We have that opportunity and we have that position filled. Same thing with, maybe down the roster a little bit. But for me, the most devastating would be some impact playing guys. Tua, left tackle, Xavier Howard, these types of players, even like Devontae Parker again or Will Fuller, that would suck. And it's incredibly important for these guys to stay healthy. And now that we have a full off season, hopefully we don't see the flood of injuries we saw last year all across the NFL. And I predicted that. Unfortunately, I was right. I don't like being right about certain things. And those are the things that I said. Deep tissue injuries are going to happen because the teams only have 2 weeks to get ready for the season. And you saw a ton of those ACL tears, strains, all these things. You saw all these deep tissue muscle tendon injuries because the team only had 2 weeks to get ready for the season versus now they're slowly being brought into it. And then they got the preseason where they can work on tackling, not all of a sudden get thrown in there. All right, go. Start playing. Just imagine you have a pitcher to have to go out and close, and you can't warm up. Start throwing. He's going to either hurt himself or he's going to throw a home run. So it's very important, and I'm very excited to see what this team can do, what all teams can do, how different the season's going to be with an actual offseason. But thank you so much, Grant, for the unbiased comment. And again, I will not be saying those last two words you put in the comment section, in your comment. I'm going to be nice to you, and I'm not going to say the chant that the Dolphins say about the Jets, but thank you so much for being unbiased and the fantastic comment. But that is the video, guys. I will see you guys on Wednesday with the first of many reaction videos. I found a very good video that I haven't watched yet, so it's going to be a live reaction this Wednesday. And like I said, tonight, if news comes out, if they have play-by-plays, if any of this stuff happens, tonight you will get the video breaking down day one of OTAs. But other than that, be sure to check out Miami Sports Music. Fantastic site. Ton of podcasts, all great stuff. TD's a part of it. Solo D's a part of it. You guys know who Solo D is. He's fantastic. Seriously, he hypes you up when you listen to his music before games. Go check out Miami Sports Music. Also, Patch Vibes. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 20% off on some fantastic t-shirts, pins, patches, and their own stuff. But other than that, guys, like I said, I'll either see you tonight or I'll see you on Wednesday. Like usual, stay classy and fins up.